9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
How's it going, everybody? Hi, Alex. Oh, hey, Nick. How's it going? Hey, y'all. My name is Alex. Catch. Sweet. I avoided the light this time. My name is Alex. I work for the application support team here at D&B. Who's here for the CCL portion? Not that I can actually see you. Cool. Thanks to the new folks in the room. There's a lot for us to talk about. We've had some really high user demand. So now we have a team that's dedicated to the development and innovation of the D&B SOUNDSCAPE ecosystem. Because of that team, not only are we able to expand our hardware offerings, but also our services, integration, software, and education. In terms of hardware, let's start with what we already know and love, DS100. When it first came out, it was capable of 64 in by 64 out in a Dante format. We also released the same unit, same I/O, with Maddie and Milan. Now, back in April, we announced the arrival of the DS100 XL. That allowed us to expand our I/O to 128 inputs by 64 outputs. The best part of that announcement is anyone that already owns a DS100 gets a free upgrade to the XL by simply updating their firmware to V3. On top of that, anyone that already owns a DS100 or buys an XL now has the opportunity to buy a secondary unit at redundancy pricing. Along with the XL, we also introduced the 64 by 24 I/O unit, the DS100S. Not to mention that all three of these, including the XL, are now priced below the original cost of the DS100. So with our new I/O sizing and the price, we're really able to expand the amount of projects that can experience the clarity and the realism of Soundscape. For example, take your 180 House of Worship application. That may be great with a DS100S, or maybe a virtual acoustic shell or an editing suite. While the DS100 continues to be a perfect fit for your 360 House of Worship applications, arenas, stadiums, and your larger performing arts centers. Or better yet, since it's scalable, you may start with a 180 project, and as it grows and needs to expand, we can grow with you by simply updating the licensing to a larger unit. As you continue to grow, we can continue to grow with you. So as you grow into the XL, we're really able to meet the demands of your largest projects and your most advanced users. As we continue to introduce products to our D&B ecosystem, we're going to continue to expand the accessibility to a wider range of users and applications. Take, for instance, this virtual acoustic shell. When we introduced the 5D amplifier, we were able to reduce the system cost by about 21%. So now with the introduction of the DS100S and scalable I/O, we're able to bring that down an additional 25% for the project. Likewise, let's take a look at a larger application and how redundancy pricing allows us to reduce the cost of running a secondary unit. In the realm of acoustics and services, D&B is beginning to take a more tailored approach to our customers' needs. So while N-Space has been emulating room acoustics for many, many years, some customers just need a custom application that's not currently addressed by our venue library. Just as a refresher, there's currently 9 venues in our venue library that represent a wide range of acoustic environments that can be mapped on a per object basis to any speaker deployment using 144 unique reverb engines. But Nspace is expanding. We're now also going to support 3 new slots that you can fill for your specialty applications. Yeah? You can put them on any DS100. It's going to be a custom room file that's derived from an industry-first on-site measurement service. The process for getting that custom room file is a fairly simple 3-step process. If you have an interested client, reach out. We'll have a conversation. We'll get you a quote. Then we're going to send you one of our clever Germans. Yeah, they'll come over from Germany. They'll measure your room, take that information back to their layer in Germany, work a little magic, and then they're going to send you an email with that custom room file that you can upload onto your DS100. Now, not only can it be uploaded to your primary processor, but it can also be uploaded to any processor, anytime, anywhere, and as many times as you like. So no, acoustics are kind of a hard thing to talk about, so maybe let's just listen to a couple of recently captured custom rooms. To help us do that, our office in Japan has sent us some tracks from a local jazz group and our friends Kopei. So with them and the help of Nspace Custom Rooms, let's take a little tour of the globe. And our first stop is going to be at King's Place in London.
How insensitive I must have seemed when he told me he left me.
Now, King's Place is a beautiful performance space with some incredible acoustics for all sorts of shows. However, acts also rehearse and perform in a smaller venue. So with Nspace Custom Rooms, we're able to transform the smaller space into the larger performance hall. And that gives us the ability to give those artists and audience members the same experience. Let's take a trip down to Italy and listen to Teatro Comunale.
What was I to say? What can you say when a love affair is over?
Now, Teatro Comunale is an interesting use case for custom rooms. It's currently undergoing a multi-year renovation during which the ensemble is performing in a secondary venue. So custom rooms allows us to bring the acoustics of the original space to the temporary venue. As a bonus, they now also have their pre-renovation acoustics preserved, so we can compare those to the new ones once renovations are complete. Let's take a trip to our side of the pond, and let's listen to Stanford's Bing Concert Hall. Now, Stanford has a similar issue, where they rehearse in a space with drastically different acoustics from their main space. So Nspace Custom Rooms helps us eliminate the hardship on the artist and logistics of moving in between the spaces. Not only that, but since that custom room profile can be loaded onto any processor or even multiple processors at the same time, they can load it onto a rental unit. And they can bring their space with them outside when they do Symphony in the Park. And that's just the start of what custom rooms can do. Imagine capturing your house of worship sanctuary, replicating that inside your editing suite, allowing your content creators to mix not only in stereo, but maybe even in SOUNDSCAPE, while hearing the actual acoustics from the space. This might minimize your need to audition the content in the actual sanctuary. Better yet, let's take the soundscape system in Anaheim and let's imagine listening to John Williams' soundtrack with not only positional information, but also room acoustics of the room of your choice. So custom rooms really helps us bring new realism and new emotion to incredible experiences like this one. We're also going to expand how we are controlling soundscape and in space. Because soundscape isn't just a system design tool. It's a creative tool that allows sound designers and artists to expand what's possible with just a regular stereo mix. Therefore, integration with third parties and other systems is critical so that we can meet those folks in their own workflow. To help us do that, a few years ago, we released a set of DAW plugins for a variety of playback applications. Those allow all the parameters of your objects to be controlled by a playback machine. Not only can those DAWs send information to the DS100, they can also capture information from third-party trackers and write that and record it into a track. Once that's been captured, it can then be played back during your virtual sound check with object movement as it actually happened. To take DAW plugins to the next step, we recently introduced the N-Space Custom Room plugin. So now, not only can you control your objects, but you can also control the acoustic signature that's applied by Soundscape, as it suits your content, all at the same time. This brings us to the big announcement for Soundscape here at InfoComm 2025. So while R1 has been a great tool for controlling not only our amplifiers, but also Soundscape, right? It's fairly customizable. We can even import images to our positioning views so that the operator can walk around the room, audition Soundscape object positions, and have a visual reference. However, R1 was designed for system engineers. And while we meet them in their workflow, there's an opportunity to expand Soundscape and create something for the artistic side of sound design. Enter Create Control. It's a dedicated Soundscape control software. Create Control is going to allow any artist or mix engineer to fully program a show, whether they're online or offline with a processor. Yeah? Say you're flying to Vietnam to program a Soundscape show for 50,000 people with KSL mains. You don't need to drag a DS100 with you on the plane anymore. I'd like to see what TSA has to say about that when you try to walk through it. Now, Create Control can be used by your mix engineer or your creatives, while your system techs and engineer continue to use R1 to finish commissioning and tuning the system. This allows us to create a simple division of labor. Once the system's commissioned, Create Control can remain for the end user and be the single touch point. This may be ideal for your installations where an integrator may not want to leave R1 control for the end user. In terms of integration, we're able to either trigger it manually, via timecode, or any of these playback softwares. Now, not only does Create Control provide a visually more appealing look and workflow, but also has the ability to import things directly from a rake out, like our venue information and even an input list. Just like a mixing desk, there's lots of navigation tools like Visual Solo, Solo in Place, and Target Mode, which enhance the speed of operation. Create Control also allows for multi-select and object grouping on the fly. There's a full snapshot engine that allows for crossfading in between positions to help us avoid the unwanted jumping between spots, including if you fire those snapshots out of order. Snapshots can also activate animations, which is a new way of imagining object movement. The new animation tool allows for a wide variety of trajectories to be created. You can then apply a single object or a group of objects and multiple objects to that trajectory, which you can also modify in real time. Those animations can then also be assigned to a snapshot. Snapshots, again, work like a mixing desk, allowing us to specify which parameter is recalled on a per object and a per snapshot basis, all while being able to also edit and update those snapshots in real time. Now, one of my favorite features of Create Control is the ability to rescale and reposition the entire show in real time without ever having to open a Raycalc or R1. So as you move from venue to venue, or say your editing suite to your sanctuary, it really only takes a few seconds for you to rescale the entire programming to fit the new system. As well as changing your programming to fit the new room, you can also control end space and change the emulated acoustics to fit your new show. So no matter where you are in your production process, whether you're in a recording studio, a rehearsal space, on the road again, thank you for chuckling, or a venue, Create Control is your creative interface to the D&B Soundscape ecosystem. Now, in preparation for our launch later in July, we're currently in a beta test, and our development team is putting the final touches on it. If you're interested in getting some hands-on time with it, head to our booth, 6973. We have at least 2 machines and some EAS staff there that can help you walk through it. Now, I know that with the new products and services, we also need to provide a unified educational resource. There's currently 6 hardware formats that may or may not be running NScene or InSpace. There are now 4 software suites that relate to Soundscape, and an ever-growing list of documents. So we're releasing today our D&B Soundscape Guidebook. It's available in our download section on our website, and this is going to be your one-stop shop for everything Soundscape. Yeah? It's going to cover our hardware, our software, and have internal links to our documents. Our hope is that this simplifies your needs and your abilities to understand, plan, set up, and train Soundscape systems for all different types of users. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for coming. Thanks for laughing at my corny dad jokes, for those that did. As a thanks, I want to bring this global Soundscape tour back to our Asheville headquarters and let you all experience a track from a local church in full Soundscape with NScene and InSpace.